Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sam Ebden, I'm a director and DP, and today we're going to be talking about natural light cinematography. I think one of the most brushed over forms of cinematography there is. I think a lot of people A, underestimate how beautiful it can be, but B, also very much don't talk about it enough, or kind of like dismiss it because you're not putting lights up and you're not doing this dramatic lighting setup. But today we're going to talk about one of the films I've done. It's an Iron Age film, and I'll show you a quick snippet now. Welcome back. So just to go through specs of everything, because that's probably one bit I missed in the last cinematography breakdown video I did. So specs of the camera, we are shooting on the Panasonic S5, so that's a full frame camera. On lens wise, we've got a Tokina ATX Pro 28-75mm. In front of the lens, we've got a tilter Mirage matte box with glimmer glass and a variable ND, because obviously we're shooting outside in the day. So here's our frame. Behind Sam, you've got the sky, clearly, and luckily, once again, we have struck gold and got a completely cloudy day with no rain. So this is acting as our giant softbox. So this is kind of like our source here. As you can see, that comes down. We've already Rembrandted it, like I always do. You've got the V here, nice and striking. And it's really, really soft today as well. And then a key rule here, you always shoot shadow side, just because then it makes sure that you've got contrast. As we were saying, shadow-wise, they're very vital in these kinds of cases. A lot of the time you can run neg fill in, or kind of just have it on a flag, that kind of thing. But in this instance, we didn't have any, so a lot of my priority was making sure that we are kind of just blocking the light itself. So that's what we've done here, because obviously all of this here is just gone to shadow, which is perfect because that's exactly the kind of look and feel we want. I think one of the key tips when you are shooting in natural light is just to make sure that the eyes can be seen. Obviously you can just about see it here, and you've got this little glimpse, there's like a tiny little dot in his eye, which is all like an eye light, which is really nice. It just elevates it slightly and just pumps it up, so then you can really tell that he's looking up to something and all that sort of thing. But normally the eye is one thing you really want to look out for. But overall, this frame I have been very, very happy with. I don't see any fault to it. It's quite beautiful. It's very Revenant-esque. So in this frame, Sam is predominantly backlit by the sky. This is used quite frequently in films and all that sort of thing to, I think, express that character. It shrouds them in silhouette, but also it just looks beautiful. Like, you get the contrast, you get the bright to the dark's in front of you, and I think especially for this film it's got to be nitty and gritty, and that's exactly what we've got. He's observing these feathers here and kind of dreaming about being able to fly. A important thing as a DP or cinematographer, you are allowed to tell the director that you want the actor to move or face in a slightly different area. As you can see here, I've allowed a bit of light to seep in. So we've gone and hit these parts of his face. There's a little touch on his cheek on his right side, and it's kind of like come through on this part of the face as well. So we've side lit him just slightly, and that's all because we've just opened him up a little bit more to the hot spots of the sky. So I'm pretty sure the sun is just here. This is the sun there. And so therefore all of this bit is kind of like the brightest part of the scene. But we have him facing towards us and directly blocking that sun, which is fine, but we just need a little bit more to elevate his face. So by opening him up slightly, we just allow the light to creep in. Nice and soft as well, because once again we've got a cloudy day, and it just lights that side of the face, so we get it nice and accentuated, and we can see kind of like what he's looking at, his persona, how he's feeling. Okay, so you're probably looking at this frame and going, Sam, you told us not to shoot with the light behind us or where the light is. And yes, forgive me, I have sinned. But there is a reason why, and that's because I had no fucking choice. So, we're going to talk about it. So, in instances like this, where you have no choice but to sin, I always find the best thing to do, and I think a lot of it is up to the grade as well, but in this instance, because we're in a wide, we can get away with this sin, this act of treason. It's both because of the time of day, so we've got here in the late afternoon, so the sun has gone from being on this side. There's basically a valley here, so you've got to imagine we're in the valley, and on this side here is the other side of the valley. The sun has gone from here in the morning, so just here, and travelled all the way around here, la-dee-dee, la-dee-da, la-dee-dee, la-dee-da, and arrived here when we've arrived to the location. And that's because we had one day to shoot this whole thing, so it's a little bit tricky to control where the sun is at which moments. So I think in the future, a good way to watch out for this is to get a location scout in with your DP or with your director, depends on which role you're fulfilling, and get there so you can work out what kind of time you want to arrive at the location. So realistically speaking, it would have been perfect if we could have gotten there when the sun was about here. So say, because it's a valley as well and a ravine, your time of day where you're going to get the sun drooping into the valley is going to be very drastically different to the actual time when the sun rises. So the sun could rise at 6 here. It will then reach here at about 10 a.m. So that's 4 hours where if you were there, you're just going to be shrouded in shadow. And that's fine, but you're dealing with sky and all that sort of thing, and the light's not going to fit right, basically, for you. So it depends on kind of like what time of day you want that light to be there. So around 1, I think 1 p.m, maybe between 11 and 1 would probably be the golden moment for this area. And that would just mean the sun's there, and then it would shroud and get us in a silhouette for him. Once again, it's cloudy, you're in a ravine as well. That sky is just a massive top softbox. So it's as though you've just mounted an LED up above him, and that's just shooting the light down here, because the sun's already gone past our ravine end, so it's like there. So realistically, you've got all that cloud, and then it's just bouncing this light that's coming from the sun that's just shooting down, basically, not from that side. Yeah, so that sun is just shooting into the clouds and creating a massive top softbox, which is perfect because, as you can see, the rest of his back falls into shadow, which shows that the clouds are doing exactly that, and we have gotten away with it. But if I was to do this scene again, I would prefer to have arrived to the location earlier and got that kind of like 11 a.m. or 1 p.m. kind of lighting, because then it would be towards being that backlit or top, just about the top as well. So that's kind of like perfect timing for that sort of scenario. But in this instance, we have got lucky, and it's created more of a massive sky panel, in essence, a literal sky panel. Ari, sponsor me. Right, now I absolutely love this frame. I think it's beautiful. It's got such feeling in it. Sam's obviously delivering quite a solid stare off into the distance, and it kind of makes you feel something in a way. It just looks so painterly. It gives me very high Dunkirk vibes. So in this instance, he's looking out at the sunset, and I'll give you 2 seconds to think how this is lit. 1, 2, surprise, it's by the sun. So the sun, as you can see, he's got this like little highlight, tiny little highlight, and that's peculiar, because if we analyse the frame, the sun isn't in front of him. The sun is actually over here, and it's kind of at a 45-degree angle hitting him. So if the sun is in his eye, but then over here, where is the sun? A question of which I'm about to answer. So in his eye, what you can actually see is a little LED panel, one of these, and it's just on like that and on very low. So at the moment this is on like, it's 95, I'm pretty sure it's way less than that. But yeah, so it's a little LED panel that we've just held up really, really dim, just to give him a little bit of an highlight. So we've got a little LED panel in front of him, but then the sun is then giving us this glorious orange glow, and it just looks beautiful. that just falls really lovely on his face. But yeah, because the sun is setting as well, it's kind of becoming more and more softer. It's not soft, it's still got its hard kind of like edge. As you can see, there is more of a hard edge there, but it's got a softer fall off, and it's kind of just what you want for those like final settling bits. And it is literally in that little bit where it's just over the horizon, it's all gone red, it's just pinging across, and it's just hitting Sam beautifully. And just the shot looks incredible. Obviously you've got the sky here as well, and it's all gone blue and the clouds have kind of like dispersed, so that just adds a bit more texture to it all. And then you've got the horizon. If you've got any questions, queries for me, please leave them in the comments below, or find me on Instagram at Sam Ebden Film. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.